process of profiling Mr. Sharnick, we have to understand there's a number of things that comes up that makes us ask some questions. One of them is this issue of him having a criminal conviction where he says that he's cleared of that, he doesn't have a record, a criminal record. When we look at the criminal record system, I'm unfortunately here to tell you that during the month of January this year, we went into the system to do an audit of this part of his information. In our course of doing this preliminary investigation, on the 16th of January, at 16:58 in the afternoon of that day, a particular employee of the South African Police Services went into the criminal record system and made some adjustments to the benefit of Mr. Stuart Sharnick. That's why Mr. Sharnick is so confident to say there'll be nothing on the system. He doesn't understand the full extent of auditing side of the back end of systems. And on the back end of systems, the transactions which he deleted reflects and remains on the back end of the system. Further, we would want to indicate there was some indication that you can apply for an expansion of a conviction, and such expansion then you get an approval and it then can be taken off the system, which is correct. You can, but there are certain provisions and conditions in certain offenses, and the fine cannot exceed a certain amount of money. In his case, it was 150,000 rand as a fine. The threshold was 20,000 rand. So there's no way one would suggest that he could have obtained an expansion of these offenses from his criminal record. It's possible, yes, on some of the assault cases which is older than 10 years and those type of things where there's an option of a fine and no imprisonment, but not on that instance where the fine is higher than 20,000. So those are still there on the back end of the system, which we discovered. And I want to indicate that the entire forensic side of the system investigation will now be continuing to bring that evidence forward and to hold that employee accountable. Now, of course, we're not sure whether the employee was prompted by somebody or the employee read an expansion of the one case and then thought all the cases should be expanded. We're not sure whether the employee did it intentionally or was the lack of understanding of what should be done in the system. But when you look at the timelines, it suggests to us that there was something that was done to the preference of this individual. Now, in that process of this entire Langer Commission and the comments of Mr. Stuart Sharnick, we also pick up there's this to and fro about whether he's a security officer and whether he's not. That part we can confirm that he is not registered as a security officer. Then you ask yourself certain questions about his profile, and when we then start to look at his profile, we pick up Mr. Sharnick owns firearms. In specific, he owns 5 firearms. We ask ourselves a question: how will a person with convictions acquire a firearm license? And for what purpose? When we go into the systems, we then start to understand the process that was unfolding for him to acquire these licenses for the training part. The second part we then discovered is then when you have that certificate, you then have to apply for a license. In that license process of application, his first application for license he made, which was made in 2023 in February, was approved in July 2023. And that application that he had approved was just for a .338 firearm. The second application he then made in 2023 was refused. Now, you will work out the reasoning whether it's valid. It says here he was refused on this application where he applied for a handgun because he did not have the prescribed reason to possess as a dedicated person. The third application he made it for a handgun again, which was made in May. And that he got an approval in August of 2023, the same year. And then he made a fourth application where he applied for another rifle, which was then approved in August 2023. And then the fifth application he made for again another rifle, which was made in 2023 on the 5th month and approved on the 8th month. The sixth application he made was in 2023 on the 5th month also, and approved also in the 8th month, was for a shotgun. Now, all these firearms that he applied for, you have to provide reasons. According to our records on the application and the system that was granted for, it is citing that he applied for these firearms for the purpose of sporting. There's a category in the Firearms Control Act, section 16 of the Firearms Control Act 50 of 2000, which talks to the issue of a categories of applications of license. And in this instance, he applied for a sporting license, a license to possess a firearm for the purpose of sporting. I'm sure by now you would have seen already that is circulating in the media. There is a clip of Mr. Stuart Sharnick in public brandishing a rifle, and the posture and the demeanor suggests that he's a security person in some sort. So one would then realize that sporting is different from being a security company. There are different provisions, rules that govern it. You have to be registered with PASIRA, you must have a number of compliance issues as a business, your business premises and all that. We are yet to get into that part of the investigation, members of the media, that we are, like I say, this was systems and what we see physically in the dockets here on the case. When it comes to these, we are still going to be looking in the file. What is contained in his...
I'm phoning him also. I'm a police officer. It's correct. That's why I'm taking it. No, it's correct. You can't leave a firearm in the car. I'm a police officer. But you're correct. You can't leave a firearm in the car. You're correct. You is correct. You can't leave a firearm in the car. This is correct. You said you can't leave a firearm in the car. I am a police officer. I understand. I am understanding. I came from the court. I came from the station. Why are you asking me why I'm coming with the firearm? Really? Why are you asking me why I'm coming with the firearm? Okay, can you say you are a police officer? I'm not allowed to ask you why you're coming with the firearm. Yeah, when you dress as traffic. I'm a police officer. I'm not allowed to ask you. I am a police officer. I'm not allowed to ask you. No, you are. Anybody is allowed to ask you. I'm a civilian. How can I not ask you? I can't ask you why you're carrying a firearm. You can't. A rifle. It's for what? I'm a police officer. You can't. We've gone to the municipality, we've gone to the court, and we've started at the station. You know where the problem is? The problem is Johnny. But even when you're coming with it, it's like you fight. I came to that guy. No, we're not fighting. I came to that guy. And everyone knows about the whole issue. It's like we're fighting with you about something that we own. Because we don't want to pay us. You're the one who's fighting. Because I said those guys must stop before we see what's going on. We never want it. No. In fact, this match has got nothing to do with me about Masuku. This guy is enforcing his plea. It's a band. Yes.